Welcome everyone. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us.
You did it!
Yes, I can do this. I know how to do it.
Oh wow, you had to do. You did the fingers.
We are now starting our first impression of Edge of Darkness, which we just did a full playthrough right before this,
Yes.
live. So for everyone's watching, thanks for continuing to watch. For people watching this on VOD, go check it out. It is a little bit long, but
Definitely worth it.
we showed off every single bit. We even did a little interview with John at the end there, and talked about the game. And spoilers, I won.
1 point.
By 1 point.
But winning is winning. I will give you that.
The point window was what, 4 points? From 55 to 51?
Yeah.
Between the three of us?
Yeah.
So it was a close game.
Yeah.
And no one really knew exactly where it was. So normally start off, slightly talk about Mystic Vale. It's a mix of, it's part of the card crafting system
Yes.
by AAG.
Yes.
For people who don't know what that is, Mystic Vale, Custom Heroes, where they have sleeves and you upgrade your card by putting other cards on top, and they use transparent cards. So it's a mix of deck building and
Little
worker
work
placement. Is the two main mechanics. I don't think mechanisms. I don't think I'm missing anything else in there. But unlike your normal deck builder, we all share the same deck.
Yep.
So we have that. There's a cool little threat tower too, with some other cool mechanics in it that you have to do it. But it's a victory point game, like most deck builders. And there is a, I don't want to say it's a co-op feel, but there is that, since we're all building the same deck and stuff, and there are threats that attack us. There can be some co-op opportunities to be like, hey, you should really kill that guy because he's gonna attack us.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but it's a little bit there.
A touch.
A touch. But no, it's plays 2 to 4. And I think the box time says 2 hours. We did that, but we stream and we take twice as long to stream a game. So I think Ed and I did about an hour on our personal game.
Yeah, and it was a 2-player game.
A 2-player game. So that's just so let's talk about what we liked about the game, and then we'll talk about what we didn't like or things to improve. So I had fun with this game.
Before we get into that, I do want to put out the disclaimer that this is just a first impression and it's not a review.
Yes.
And 2, we were very, very fortunate and we were very grateful that we were given a prototype copy of this game.
Yep. Yeah.
So anything that we mention or talk about, please keep in the back of your mind that we are given a prototype and they're going through some, it's a late stage prototype, but a prototype nonetheless.
Like artwork's pretty much finished, rule book's being tweaked, and there's some other components that are being worked on, icons and stuff like that. So let's talk about this. Might be my new favorite deck builder. I like the single deck thing. I like I'm working on something, you're working on something. If I want to change strategy mid game and go to your strategy, I could just take your guild members and do it. Like, I might have to pay you a little bit of gold and you'll be able to kind of do it too, but like I could do it. Like it's a kind of, it does a lot of really unique things that I haven't seen before in other games. So like it makes it really unique. And so we're talking to John about this. The prototype came with 12 locations and you play with 10. He said the deluxe version at the beginning of the Kickstarter is going to have 21, and then stretch goals might expand that to who knows how many.
Right.
So like Dominion and stuff like that, seeing how those other locations interact would be very interesting to change gameplay. And I'm sure you can kind of have scenarios where you're much more attack heavy or some other strategy of how you're gonna mitigate and manage everything. I used my normal strategy of I get all the people and all the things. That's what I typically do with worker placements. It's a little bit different doing this with a deck builder, but you kind of take ownership of cards, which give you a little bit of perks, but other people can still use it and stuff like that, which was really cool. So that's what I liked about it. I think this might be my new top deck builder.
Really?
Yeah. There's a few other, like, there's a few other that are more co-op deck builder kind of stuff where you're playing with each other. Like, it's a different tier. This is a competitive game.
Yeah.
So like over Dominion or something like that, I probably would rather play this than Dominion, because I think that gets tired, and the other players really change your strategy in this game because you get to play other cards too. Stefan, what do you think?
So, I may not look like that I enjoyed the game throughout the whole gameplay, but it was only because I felt like part of it was I was obviously trying to understand the mechanics and whatnot. Totally came unprepared.
Well,
but you guys did a really good job at catching me up to speed.
And it's done intentional.
Yeah.
You know, we do it on stream intentional because we want to be able to show our audience, hey, if I just sit down to this game for the first time, how easy is this game to pick up?
Yeah, it was definitely intimidating at first, but by round 2, I kind of already had the idea going. Plus, I had the super pro tip by the designer in the beginning. So that helped out a lot. And just like I said earlier, too, I said I felt like I played it safe, which allowed me to kind of understand and interpret a little bit of your guys' strategy.
Yeah.
And you said it best, actually. There was a couple opportunities for me to kind of just take from what you guys did by using your guild members and trying that strategy out on my own and realizing, like, oh, wow, hey, that's really good. Wouldn't really change my main strategy, but if that same combination of cards came up again, I'd do it again. But yeah, I'd say this is my second game type of like the card crafting system. First one being I just said it, the Battle Wizards. Did you ever play that one?
I haven't played that.
Yeah, so you craft the spells and do, it's very similar. But this one was really cool because while the guild members and what were they called? The contacts, right?
Yes.
The contacts. While they don't directly interact with each other for like added like bonus benefits, at least the ones that we played. Who knows with the new locations? It was nice to see. Okay, I have a citizen that has. What? I always keep forgetting. What's the battle?
Darn it! I call them battle points.
Yeah.
It's not what there are. Battle strength. Battle strength. Yes.
Battle strength. So I can divide up. Okay, I've got battle strength on top. Let me do some money gain, and then maybe do some, other flexible abilities, so that way when I get it in my hand next time, I have plentiful options. Towards the end, I realized I started getting like a lot of the blank guild cards. Yeah, the neutral cards. So I kind of felt shafted towards the end. But other than that, I actually had a lot of fun. I feel like this is something that I would beg and be like, wife, please play this with me. And she'd be like, no. But at least I have you guys to play with, which would be really awesome.
So I was really intimidated by this game, especially when Josh got the game and he was like, hey, can you come over and play through this game once before me? Because I'm typically you in these positions where I sit down to games brand new and fresh-faced.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
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 It for me, it depends. If you have a good teacher, I think it makes it fun. So
I think so. I think because I go into it knowing that I'm here to show off how easy it is to play a game. And 2, I think there's a different level of competitiveness between streaming a game and a personal game.
For sure.
So like when Josh and I sat down to play the game together for the first time, I felt like on even ground, and for me that was a far more competitive game than this one. Like this is still a little bit competitive because I've already played it with him once, so now I wanted to, but I didn't.
Yeah, I did feel like I was on the sidelines a little bit. I saw you guys kind of jabs at each other, but I thought I was going to use that to my advantage. Be like, all right, these guys are focusing on what they want to do. Let me.
They're going to knock each other out, and I'm going to come up the middle.
And just like you said, like, I mean, the point spread wasn't too far.
No.
So it makes me happy that even a simple strategy that I approached was enough to actually stay within the ranks. Competitive, instead of doing that like discovery game where everybody's like, I have 54 points, I have 53 points, and I have 11 points. Like, do I get a participation trophy for this?
I mean,
you get a ribbon.
It was a 4-point spread, and we had between 50 and 55 points. Like it
Yeah.
was.
We got more points this time than the first time we played the game, and you got more points this time than either of us for the first time playing the game.
Even John said that it was a good. He felt like it was a good turnout for points for all of us.
Because he said for a first person's game, it's typically someone wins in 50s.
Yeah.
But normally everyone else is like 40s.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So like, it kind of shows. And you said it was pretty easy to pick up. You got second turn. You kind of pretty much understood what was going on. And
I had to redo my math. Because like 51 points.
That
no
doesn't
way.
sound right.
Not with what I did. And then I counted like 3 times. Like, wow, I actually got 51 points. All right, cool. I'm gonna go with it.
I'm going to echo a couple of the comments that you guys made. One, the modularity of the game I think is really cool. 2, it does look intimidating at first, but I really enjoyed that after the setup, even the second time around, I really think that the game is much easier than it looks. It looks 10 times as intimidating as it is easy to play. I really love the art style.
yeah, the art is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
I really love the landscape art. Like the character art is good,
Yeah.
but the landscape art is just
Really pretty. The way that
really
the artist
beautiful.
uses the light in pictures, like the forge is a good
Like,
example of that.
looking at that. Like it's still pretty, but like
I think one of my favorites, even though I didn't grab one card of them, is definitely the labor exchange.
Yeah?
I like that the red color.
but it's all very.
Yeah.
The background on our screen is the art from the game. It's just
It's gorgeous. I liked, and I know, so some of the points that I hope my audience can turn to me for is to talk about gender representation in games and also gaming for people who have ADHD. And I want to touch on both of those points in here. I did notice, one of the first things I noticed, and maybe it's just because I'm a girl and those are the things we look at. The patricians are like half female, half male. The citizens are half female, half male. There's a lot of girls that are in like the fighting positions. I thought that there was a subtle equal representation for everybody in the game. It would have been nice to see a lot more ethnicities in the game. I feel like everybody's a white person. But it was, at the least it was nice to see that gender representation. And I like the fact that it was subtle. Some games try to do it and kind of put it in your face. I don't know.
theme-wise, that might not. I don't know the world place they set this in.
It's fantasy. It's whatever you want it to be. It's
is.
supposed to be a mix of 1700s feel, and like I get that, but
I'm just saying, like to counterpoint your.
Appreciate your devil's advocate.
Yes.
As a gamer with ADD, look, whatever these tokens are, there needs to be more of these tokens.
Oh, I didn't get to say that. Yeah. When John suggested to use those to pre-plan your turn,
Yes!
that is something I wish I saw in more games, because that's what happens when you play games like this. If you or if you play with people with analysis paralysis,
Yep.
totally guilty, by the way. It happens with me in the worst games. Like Power Grid comes to mind.
Yeah.
Totally like destroys me. But being able to number, like there was, I think towards the end I was like, all right, lay these cards out. Boom, boom, boom. My turn.
I saw
okay,
you doing it.
I'm gonna do this, and then I passed it to you, and that was really cool, because even my wife, she's like, I'm 10 seconds into my turn. She's like,
irritating. No, I get it. I mean, look, I have analysis paralysis. We all know this. And then I get confused really easy, because when you have ADD, you have poor short-term memory, which is why like I needed the pen and paper even to count on my victory points.
Okay.
That would have been nice too, to have a victory point tracker, but that's for other commentary. It was so nice to be able to say like, I'm not taking actions twice, because even without the numbers, I didn't really use the numbers much, but I can be like, all right, this is checked off. This is checked off. I've done this.
that was a really cool thing they did.
So it's such a little piece. It's such a little component, but it's so important and I thought that everything they did a really good job of keeping everything organized. The player board is very organized. All of my components were going in good places, and I don't know if these are the final production pieces of the components, but I liked like even this the coin money is cute, how it's all kind of a mix of coin money. I thought that was cute. Using the influence and the goodwill on the same token was nice. So I thought it was a really nice, efficient use of their space. The way that the player board is supposed to be set up with the game in the middle and the locations on either side with the expansion board in the middle, it's just very organized. And that's so helpful when you have analysis paralysis or you have ADD or you have some sort of trouble with the organization, to have like the game just kind of, look, set me up once.
For sure.
And then let's roll. Yeah. Send it back to you. You want to start with things that maybe not necessarily things that things maybe you didn't enjoy, things that you think have room for improvement.
I'm not like, so everything that like I think needs room for improvement is, this was a prototype.
Yes.
And that was, so Ann and I had issues going with the rules.
Yeah.
But they're blind testing the rules now and going to be updating them.
Yeah.
So like, it's going to be fixed, and hopefully it will. I'm actually even going to reach out and be like, all right, here's what we found when we played. I'm just going to give them.
Hopefully that'll be helpful for them.
Just be like, here's a couple things I saw when I went through the rules, just to make sure they do get fixed. And we don't have final components, so like we're using poker chips for that I smeared the ink off because it's green screen.
Yeah, Josh, you can't put a green poker chip on a green screen.
So like we had some issues with the tower, but it's a prototype tower, and I'm sure the cards will stand better when we
on
get
the final.
Yeah, so nothing like, I really don't have anything nitpicky to say about, like, I had fun playing it and I kind of want to see more. That's my nitpick is they didn't send us all 21 locations in the prototype to play. There we go. But no, like the meeple, they're not going to be meeples in the final product. I believe they're going to be tokens with trained and untrained on circle tokens, from what I saw in the pictures.
Even the meeples though worked real well.
Yeah, the meeples worked good too. So I really don't have anything to criticize because it's a heavy game and it did what it did well, and it was actually really, once we understood it correctly,
yeah,
it was very easy to pick up and play. And like as Stefan said, like round 2, like with new player, I think round 2, as long as you're somewhat experienced with deck building and stuff like that, like you understand that concept, it's a pretty easy pickup game to do.
How about you, Stefan?
All right, so couple things as far as criticism goes. I think a lot of them are just based on what happened in this game. One, I think I would have liked to see a little bit more aggression with the defense track. I kind of like how you guys interpreted the rule initially, where like the difference would have done that, because then it would have made defending, I think, a little bit more valuable.
Yeah.
Right? And then, well, don't get me wrong, like I was nerve-wracked when I saw the cubes going down, and I was like, okay, I might get attacked this turn.
Right.
But, like, I mean, the trade-off, at least in the beginning, like, it definitely punishes you towards the end.
Yes.
But I was never worried about getting towards the end. And even with a very like, again, 4 workers the whole game. Right?
Yeah.
Literally, we're only on the watchtower. And I took a total of 2-point loss for that. So I would have, I think that I wouldn't be scared if they had that a little bit more aggressive again. Maybe some of the stretch goals might enhance that.
But it might also be like playstyle. If you play style, you don't even go to the watchtower and you're just super aggressive doing everything else on the board and not caring about defense. Be like, all right, I got all these points, but my defense is completely shot.
I mean, yeah, that could be right. We could have just really had a good luck run with a lot of the monsters. Again, the biggest threats that were on the board were either handled by Ann or I knew weren't coming my way. So there was that, and then
And the thing was like it was either it was a 3 threat or a 2 threat, or it was like
which
some giant,
can be negated,
which is completely negated by the watchtower.
Yeah.
So again, you could play a game without the watchtower and it could be totally different.
Yeah, you're right. I think I
That's a
would
thought.
have liked also to see more opportunities to hunt the blight.
Yes.
That's one thing that I I was so far in the game, and then when I started realizing how beneficial the points were to me, I realized that it was just really hard to get to. Like, come on, because like you had to get over here first.
Yep.
You had to drop 2 workers here. So that for me that meant okay, I have to like if I had the 2 workers over here. And then I had to spend 1 turn to get over here, and another turn to get over here, and then another turn to attack. So I was doing the math, and I was like, okay, so if I do that in 3 moves, and I can at most knock out something that can give me 5 points, or I can keep banking on the Grand Librarian
Yeah.
and just get 2, 2, 2, 6. I mean, it's not much. It's 1 point, and I guess in the grand scheme of things, like if you take the fact that when you're get negative points for taking some hits instead of being offensive. I guess it balances out in a sense, but I think I would have loved to see that. But then again, maybe the next time I play, I'll go for more of an offensive strategy, and I'll get that.
That's an interesting point. And then to take out the watchtower, that was an interesting suggestion to see how that would play too. But you're right. It is interesting to see how there's just a couple of the first hits don't do much towards your victory points, and how you get punished so much so far down. I think it's a really steep slope. My only criticism goes back to just the representation in the art. It would be nice to have seen a couple of more ethnicities in the art. Yeah, everybody's a white guy or white girl.
Not the blight though.
Not the blight, though. I mean, those are ghost horses, so I mean, there's that. I sometimes felt a little stuck, but I think that's kind of that has to do with strategy and planning. Aside from that, I mean, I really enjoyed playing this game. That's all that I really. That's all I
The
really
only thing
got.
I can think maybe is if the threats were a little bit more active.
I do like your one point about I was really upset. Like when you got hit by an 8-point monster, I feel like you should have really taken that hit.
But that's the only, like, because early game, like, threats didn't come out, and it's like, oh, just make sure someone's at the watchtower. That's it.
Yeah.
So, just to, since you guys have a better
Yeah.
grasp on the rules than I do, what are the how does the threat level scale on 2 to 4?
I think it's 6 for 2, 7 for 3,
So
and
it
8
goes
for
higher.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's more.
Okay.
So I think it's a linear scale, I think, but I don't remember if that's the exact numbers.
So would that encourage more defense or more attack on a 4-player game? I'm trying to think.
I would think more defense because
Well, the threat level's higher, so you don't have to worry about that so much. And then more opportunities for, like, let's say 2 of the 4 players go on a more offensive route. And then, let's say, player number 3 is going mid-game offense, and there might not be much left. Like, look at that, for example. There's at most 3 blight that
Yeah.
I can plan for.
yeah.
And then by the time it comes to my turn, like the ones that I had the opportunities to try to attack are no longer there
There.
because there might be stronger ones.
Yeah.
So there's that's an interesting way to look at it too.
Most important question of the evening tonight, gentlemen. Would you play the game again?
Yeah, I'll play the game again.
Absolutely, if you guys are playing though.
I would definitely play this game again. I really had a lot of fun. You had a good twist on the question last week.
Yes. Would you back this? The only question I can't answer for you is I don't know what the price is going to be. Don't know.
So let's play this game. I would back it if it was under X dollars. Economic value to the game.
Deck builder. I'm trying to think like the
plastic,
value.
the plastic sleeves. Imagine
Plastic sleeves. It's
how
gonna
much
be a
it takes
plastic,
to take.
plastic tower.
That's your.
Tower's expensive.
Imagine take the cards are plastic.
Yeah.
Like even if you take it, just take it. What is Mystic Veil MSRP for right now?
I have no idea. What's Dominion?
Well,
A
Dominion.
normal deck builder. That's normal cards. That's not plastic. That's not sleeves.
Yeah, but
It doesn't come with a plastic tower. I'm just asking. What's Dominion's price?
Dominion. I don't know. Yeah, it's been a while since I bought like a Dominion or an expansion.
I think it's like 40.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say this is probably around 60 or 70.
60
Starting.
seems low.
It seems low too. I'm starting.
I would give it 75 to 80.
Yeah. And the high pack probably is around like 100 something. with
Yeah,
21
it would
locations and
definitely have to come with a lot of upgraded components, or like one thing I'm a sucker for is like, for example, with Scythe. Have you seen the metal coins for
Yeah.
Scythe?
Yeah.
If that deluxe version came with metal coins,
Yeah.
or even if that was like a low stretch goal, I'd back it.
The metal coins would be your tipping point.
That yeah, and it's funny because I'm trading real money for fake money.
Put quarters out for you.
so I don't know the price. That probably would have been a good question for John because he might have been able to share light on that. But
I don't think he would have been able to though.
He
He's
might have
pretty
been.
tight-lipped.
who knows? But no. Yeah, I would back it as long as it, even like 100 for the deluxe edition or whatever, or something. If it was around there, maybe even 120. Like, I think if you like
Money
deck
bags.
builders, no, I think if you like deck builders, that's not a horrible price. And if it comes with 21 locations and stuff, like
Yeah.
when you get to Dominion and a couple expansions, like you're talking around that price range anyway.
If it was 60, which I agree, I think is kind of low end, I would definitely back it for the 60. I wonder if it would be sitting more at like the $80 range.
I think it will be. Look at the size of that box.
I
Yeah, the
think
box is. And can you grab the box? I know it's a prototype box, but they just did. I wonder what Thunder Quest was, but this is.
I think that
Was it heavy when you when
It
you
was
got
like a
it?
10-pound package. Okay, came.
I think it would have to be a holiday gift for myself. Like it would have to be my birthday gift, and then I feel like I would justify something 80 or more. But I wouldn't. I think that it'd be. I think I'd be more concerned about my own personal budget over whether the game was worth the money.
Okay.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm confident that someone I know will get it, so I might not even need to get it because I feel like
You want to like nudge Josh? He's over here for $120.
Don't even worry about it. He's like, yeah, my favorite deck builder. So I'm like, okay, I guess that means Josh is picking it up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's a cool thing though. But I think for my play group, even including you guys too, I think it would hit both of our tables instantly.
Yeah.
So I think if I don't convince someone that this is a good game to play, it would probably end up being me that picks it up.
Just a quick note. I'm looking at the last game, that Thunderstone Quest.
Mm-hmm.
The base game was 60, and the big box was 100. It's a price range, and I think it's about that size box. So
Okay. Well, I mean,
might be where it's around.
we'll find
find
out
out.
tomorrow.
Find out
Yeah.
tomorrow. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks AEG for sponsoring this week and this stream.
This stream and all this week's streams.
With Edge of Darkness. Make sure to check it out tomorrow on Kickstarter launching at 12 noon.
Eastern time.
Yeah, 12 Eastern noon. Thank you. All have a good night. I am Josh.
I'm Stefan.
And I'm Ann.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.